In this video, we will see the next mechanism of the advanced facilities of the microprocessor, and that is the unconditional statements. What is the unconditional statement? This contains the unconditional jump instruction. What does it indicates us? It contains the unconditional jump instruction, and which instructions comes under it, that is the AGO statement. While seeing the no operation statements and in the expansion time sequencing symbols, we have seen that AGO is always used with the label field to indicate the label execution. So, what is the AGO statement? This is very good facility provided by the microprocessor, and it is also called as an unconditional jump statement because execution control is transferred to sequencing symbol which is defined in the label field. So what is the syntax of field? Means how to execute actually AGO in our programming. That is nothing but you have to write the AGO statement and then you have to write the sequencing symbol. Okay. At the time of expansion, it is replaced with the BC statement. When the branching condition occurs, at the time of replacement, it will be replaced with the BC statements. For example, AGO dot next. What does it mean? The statement executes or the execution control transfers to the sequencing symbol dot next defined in the label field. Means the procedure associated with this label or this label indicating which part of a programming that part will be executed after this AGO. Means here no any jumping statement or conditions was occurred to transfer the control. It simply execute the procedure or execute the label which is indicating the procedure that will be executed automatically. Now we will see the third type of a statement, that is nothing but the control statement. Sorry, conditional statement. What is it? As we know that when condition occurs and when it is become true, the transfer will be occur. Then what is the type of field? That is the AIF statement. This is very good facility provided by the microprocessor, and it evaluates the relational expansion of the AIF statements. If expansion is true, then execution control is transposed to sequencing symbol which is defined in the label field. Means for example, as we all know that besides of studying theory, if we take syntaxes, then it will be a clear understanding of any part. So what is its syntax? You have to use AIF, then you have to explain the expression part. Okay, then you have to write sequencing symbol. Means this will jump to the next statement when this statement become true or false. When it is true, then some statement will be there. When it is false, some statement will be there. It is actually act like the if statement of other programming languages, where the relational expression can be used. Relational expressions using the condition codes. Means we can use the relational expressions also. Then, for example, we can use like operand 1, then specify the condition code, then you can specify the operand 2. At the time of expansion, it is replaced with compare and basic statements. Instead of using actually if statement of the other programming languages, the microprocessor having its own facilities of doing such operation, that is the compare and BC. So these are replaced with the compare and BC. So this is all about the conditional statements. And now we will see the last type of a control statements. That is nothing but the expansion time loops. What is the last type? Expansion time loops. Okay. What is it? It is nothing but the section of your program that will be executed at some specific time. That is known as a expansion time loop. This is very good facility provided by the microprocessor and it is called as a loop statements. How we call it as a loop statements? Because, for example, repeat the procedure and follow some statements and then end of the macro. So repeat is nothing but the expansion time loops means when the condition occurs, the loop become expanded. So it evaluates the expression of the repeat statement and that number of times execute statements between repeat and end macro statements. So its syntax is what? We will take a syntax and that is nothing but, for example, repeat is a keyword, then you have to take the some expression, then you have to execute some body of the loop and then you have to do the end macro. At the time of expansion, it is replaced with, we all knows that which are the different condition checking statements of the microprocessor, that is nothing but the compare, BC, which are the different shifting or processing, that is the move register, move memory statements, and it is transferred between the, means these are the executed between the repeat and end macro statements. Expression always evaluates the numeric positive values. For example, expression is having always the numeric values and that should be a positive one, means not a negative values. For example, repeat 10, then some procedure and end macro. So in this example, the this statement will execute or repeat your loop 10 number of times. So this is all about the different parts of the control statements of the advanced macro facilities. Now we will see the next part of the advanced macro facility and that is nothing but the expansion time variables. You will also get the idea from the title, that is the expansion time variables, means you have specified some value for that variable before the programming start and you have to only replace the values of that variable in the time of a running of a procedure. So these types of statements can be divided into two types, that is the variable declaration statement and value assignment statements. So first we will see what is the variable declaration statement. What is it? These variables are called as, these are nothing but the expansion time variables because they are only used in macro definitions. What is the definition? They are actually used in the macro definitions, means where actually you have to replace the values. There are two types of expansion time variables and their names are local and global variables. Okay, variable declaration statements are the part of the expansion time variables and they are again having the local and global time. We all know that the scope of the local variable is limited to only part of that function and global scope is in that function outside or after that function. It is all over the any programming. So how the local variables can be declared? It can be declared like you have to write the local Now here you have to list variable list separated by commas. Okay, so it is the local variable and you have to list out the variables. How to write the global variables? Now it is the global variable list and that is the variable list separated by the commas. This statement is used to declare the global variable. Okay. Now I will list out some points regarding the variable declaration statements that are all global and local variables should be preceded with ampersand sign. We have seen this part from previous some points of the macroprocessor, and we all know that to declare any variable in a macroprocessor, you have to always use ampersand sign before it. Once the global variables are declared, then it is used in late defined macro definitions. Scope of a local variable is only limited to that macro definition only, means you cannot expand it outside of that loop. So it is a variable declaration statements. Now we will see the next part of the expansion type variable, that is the variable assignment statement. What is it? How to assign a variable? Actually, I will give an example and then try to correlate it with the macro facilities. For example, integer a and a equals to 50. What you have done here, you have declared the one variable that is known as a and you are assigning it a value 50. Same like that in the macro processor, you have to set the values, means assign values to different variables. But how? So for that, you have to write like, you have to assign ampersand, then variable name, then use the keyword set. Actually, you have to write the set, means this value will be set to the value, means here you can write the any value or the expression. Okay, so this is the syntax. For example, there is a one procedure that is the local variables, and that are, for example, a, b, c. Now there are some global variables that are p and q. Now, for example, we will set a the value like 4. Then we will set the value to c like 5, or we can set the values like ampersand b, and we have to set like expression. How to set the expression? We have to only take value of a and again assign plus 6 to the value of a. So these are the different mechanisms associated with variable assignment statements. And this is all about the expansion type variables. And now, coming to the completion of this advanced macro facilities, we will see another last topic, and that is nothing but the attributes of parameters. Okay, what is it? Attributes of parameters, and parameters are nothing but these are the formal parameters, not the actual, because actual parameters are assigned at the time of a calling. Now it represents the information about the formal parameter of the variable, so that its type, length and size attributes. And what is its syntax? You have to write first attribute name, then you have to write the different formal parameters. Okay, where attribute names will be TLS, which represents, means for example, here is the attribute name. For example, it is a type. Then you have to specify its formal parameter. Next is the L. L means the length. Then you have to write the size. Then you can write like size. It is used, for example, I am having the AIL, means conditional jump statement. For example, length of ampersand equal to 1.